Hello, and welcome to 20 Lore Pro, a community of Lorcana players who enjoy deck building, competing, and opening Lorcana product. You can find out more at our Discord community, 20lorepro/Discord, link in the description. We have tons of upcoming events, deck lists, and deck discussions. In today's video, you'll be watching Evolutions Trading Lorcana 1K, the first Lorcana 1K for Into the Inklands, Round 2, featuring Lorcana Bros piloting Emerald Steel versus Ron, also piloting Emerald Steel. Wish our competitors luck and enjoy the video. And we are here at Evolutions Trading today, here hosting a Lorcana 1K for Set 3 Into the Inklands. We want to thank y'all so much for joining us today. We're here in round 2 of 5. We're watching Aaron, also known as Lorcana Bros at the 20 Lore Discord, versus Ron. It appears to be a Emerald Steel mirror match. We see a lot of Emerald cards being very strong this set. Very excited to see some Ursulas possibly be played to try to control what your opponent has in their hands. Or the little tiny Morph. Morph being a huge addition into this deck, just allowing any Bloodborne character to shift on top of him. Many of you may have watched the beloved movie Treasure Planet. I had to go back and rewatch it. I couldn't quite remember who Morph was, but seeing him just be able to transform his little body into any character and to create any little image, whether it be an object or a person, really strong character in the Treasure Planet lore. So here we are in game 1 of round 2. Ron going first. So I'm excited to see what they play. And we see a little tiny Robin Hood. This Robin Hood being really strong due to the 5-drop that it has, but gosh, this 1-drop just being inkable makes it a very great card to play, knowing that you can ink this Robin Hood late game if you don't need him, and whenever you do get up to the 5 lore, you can cast its higher version. That larger Robin Hood just having so many good abilities, just able to shift onto the tiny Robin Hood, but also having a 3/6 body, able to quest for 2, shift for 3, and gain you a lot of lore and draws. There's Ron here with the Morph like we had been describing earlier. That little Morph just able to do so much for Ron, possibly later on in the match. We'll see how this new card plays out from him from Into the Inklands. There's Aaron with a turn 2 Bucky, one of the MVPs of this Emerald Steel deck, really just able to control the pace of the game as it tries to take away resources from your opponent every time you play a Bloodborne. Really excited to see Aaron from 20 Lore Pro Discord playing, also known as Lorcana Bros. Excited to see him playing here in the first Lorcana 1K of Set 3 Into the Inklands. Here's Ron. Almost forgot to reveal his ink. Sometimes it's easy for players like myself to forget to show the ink that I'm putting into the inkwell. Shifts onto the Morph. First time we're getting to see this with a card that I will pull up for you here in just a second. But we're able to see the power of Morph using another character that is not normally shifted on. Helga St. Clair, also from Treasure Planet. I'm sorry, from Atlantis. My apologies, it's from Atlantis. Another great Disney film. Shift 3, whenever a quest deals 3 damage to a damaged character. There's Aaron with that shifted Robin Hood that we described earlier. That Robin Hood, champion of Sherwood, protecting the little tiny citizens of Sherwood. Aaron playing a Zeus. A new strong song from Into the Inklands. Just able to deal damage. And then came Zeus. Deal 5 damage to a location or character, taking out that St. Clair, Helga. Ron playing the new Mr. Smee card from Peter Pan. R&B and Jeebus describing this as one of the most powerful cards from Steel for this set. Mr. Smee just really being strong, especially when you're playing with other pirates. Aaron decides to take care of Mr. Smee using a Let the Storm Rage On, dealing 2 damage, drawing a card. We're seeing these two wonderful players really going back and forth here, dealing damage to each other, trying to control the board state while also taking care of their opponent's hand by making them discard. Here's that Mr. Smee up there on the screen for you to see. Able to quest for 2, and beginning of your turn, if it doesn't have a captain in play, deals a damage. Ron playing the Ursula 3-drop, which so many people have seen. Whenever you sing a song, just able to do it again. Ursula really seeing a lot of really popularization and interest, going up to about $30, if not more at this point. But that Ursula just being very strong and having the abilities that it does. Into the Inklands really seeing a huge update to this Emerald Steel deck. Lots of variations, lots of playstyles that get enhanced by the cards that are brought forth. Here's that Ursula for you on the screen. Whenever this character sings a song, you may play that song again from your discard for 3. Then put it on the bottom of your deck. Seeing these two players go back and forth. Ron now having no hand, playing from top deck, while Aaron having a Beast, Tragic Hero on the board to try to recoup some cards back into his hand. Beast, Tragic Hero being possibly the strongest card from set 2, able to shift if there's a morph on the field, 3, or another low-cost Beast, which currently there don't seem to be too many of those. Able to draw an extra card each upkeep with no damage. There's a Bucky from Aaron. Ron playing every card that he has, playing that 2-drop Ursula, choosing to play it instead of ink it. Really just trying to get a board presence and play anything that Ron draws. That way it doesn't get discarded to a Bucky. That 2-drop Ursula being quite strong itself, able to look at your opponent's hand and take away a song. Acts almost like a duress for some people if they are familiar with Magic the Gathering. Aaron playing a second Beast. Aaron now able to draw 2 cards every single upkeep due to the Beast having no damage on them. Aaron really trying to gain resources this game and keep his hand quite large. Both players now 4-4. Ron finding his own Beast off the top. That way he'll be able to draw 2 cards a turn and play, hopefully getting back into this match with resources. Decides to use his Mr. Smee to finish off that 3/6 Robin Hood. Here goes Aaron with those draws. Aaron has quite a hand. He's able to determine what he wants to play and use his resources as he'd like. Looks like he dropped a card on the ground. Maybe he picked up an extra one. He's trying to determine the best play and chooses to play a Hercules. This Hercules being quite strong against so many Amber decks that play cards like Grab Your Swords. Having resist 2 and a 6/3 body makes it very strong and hard to deal with. Aaron now having 2 Tragic Beasts, a Shift Hercules, a Divine Hero with a Bucky, has quite a board and the ability to lure for quite a bit when he wants. Ron, able to have his own beast, gain some extra card advantage, using it to play a Grab Your Swords in a Whole New World. Ron opted not to play his Whole New World with his beast, choosing instead to cast and sing the Grab Your Swords, uses his resources to play Whole New World. We haven't seen a Bucky from Ron's side. This may indicate that he's not quite playing the discard, but instead playing the hand control advantage. Maybe a new line for the deck. We have yet to see a Bucky, but this may be a possibility. Manticore, you're right. Welcome, Manticore, to the stream. Thank you for watching. We got Lorcana Bro playing with us today here at Evolutions Trading for the first 1K Lorcana tournament of the season. If you'd like to head on over to the 20 Lord Discord, Manticore runs the Manticore Tavern tournaments on our 20 Lord Discord. Aaron now deciding to use his beasts now that they're damaged to challenge and banish some characters, using them to quest and to gain some more lore. Playing a Tinkerbell, not able to do any damage, but this character able to quest for 2 makes it quite relevant at this time with the board state. We saw that Grab Your Swords take out that Bucky that used to be on Aaron's board. Aaron having a full hand at this time. No Bucky to challenge his hand size. Now able to play whatever cards that he would like as long as he has the resources available. Ron at a pivotal point in this game, looking down at so much lore on Aaron's side of the board, along with a resist 2 Hercules, has to try to find some characters that really give him some outs. We saw Ron attempting to play a Hercules, decided not to, Divine Hero. Having his own Hercules on the board will allow him to challenge a lot of these characters and possibly survive. Critical stage at this time in the game, Ron facing down so many characters, trying to decide his best line. Sometimes all it takes is taking a player to use 2 to 3 minutes to really decide what the plays are and what their outs are where they make a move. Lorcana Bros, Aaron, also known as Lorcana Bros, having a very strong board state and just the ability to really control what's going on. Ron using a Let the Storm Rage on to deal 2 damage to finish off a beast who would otherwise quest for 2 and drawing himself a card. Let the Storm Rage on, some people think is underwhelming due to its 2 damage, but just having that extra draw ability makes that card quite strong and playable. Ron now having 3 resources in his Inkwell available to him, decides to use his Ursula to duress his opponent. We see a Here Came Zeus, which he decides to take, Ron decides to take, along with, it looks like, Strength of the Raging Fire, a beloved Mulan card dealing damage equal to the number of characters in play, as well as some other strong cards. Something about Lorcana that is unique is that players cannot write down or take notes, meaning that even though Ron saw Aaron's hand, he is unable to write down the cards that he saw. That makes memorizing what your opponent has that much more stronger and more important for players to do. We see Wonderland here in the Twitch chat cheering on Lorcana Bros. A lot of members from the Toy Lore Pro community know Lorcana Bro fondly from either having lost to him in a match or beaten him. I myself had the pleasure of playing against Lorcana Bros at a FIA tournament and lost against him using Ruby Amethyst. Here's Aaron, also known as Lorcana Bros, questing. Going up to 10. Really utilizing Bucky early on to control the hand size of his opponent, while now in the late game using his larger characters to quest to gain as much lore as he possibly can. That's one thing about not playing against Ruby Amethyst, is you know that there's no be prepareds in the future. We have seen a grab your swords from Ron, so we know that he does have the ability to deal 2 damage to each of these characters, except of course from Hercules, who has resist 2. From Aaron, we see the new Robin Hood. This card, being quite strong, has really incredible art. The champion of Sherwood, saving Sherwood's citizens from the treacherous Prince John. Ron thinking about his plays, having some limited time. His 5 lore to Aaron's 10, really having to concentrate and think about what he wants to play. Reveals a Here Came Zeus to deal some damage. Could decide to take out possibly the Hercules, but chooses to take out the Tinkerbell. Along came Zeus, being a very powerful card, dealing 5 damage to chosen character, really giving Steel a new strong targeted removal for most characters in Lorcana. And score, that's right. This is currently round 2 of 5. This is game 1 of the round. See if we can't update that overlay information for y'all. Aaron taking his turn. We see his beast, having gone out earlier, plays an Ursula. Whenever he uses that Ursula to sing songs, we'll get to see them again from the discard pile. Aaron playing his own Ursula to look at his opponent's hand, take a song. I don't believe he found anything off of that look, but at least having the information by looking at his opponent's hand, he knows that he is free to make any plays that he'd like. Both of the new Ursulas just being very strong and great new additions to these Emerald Steel decks. And there goes the game for round 2. Ron looking at the board state, saying that Aaron just had such control over all the draws and the ability to just continue to play large characters, decides to go on to the next game and save some time. Aaron just really showing the power of these new Into the Inklands set 3 cards and the updated Emerald Steel list. If you want to head on over to YouTube to 20 Lore, you can check out our Set 3 Into the Inklands review, which featured RMB, Jeebus, and Wonderland, where we talked about Wonderland's version of the updated Emerald Steel discard deck. Again, we're here today at Evolutions Trading for the Lorcana 1K, first one for Set 3 Into the Inklands. Congratulations to Aaron on taking game 1 of the match. We'll see if Ron can come back. I believe that Ron was on the play during the first game. He'll be on the play, I'm guessing, again here for game 2. A lot of really strong cards that are seen from both of these players. Taking some different routes, different deck lines. We'll see if Ron is playing a Bucky. We did not see a Bucky from him during game 1. That's something about these Emerald Steel decks, is that mulliganing when you're looking for certain cards. A lot of times they have specific play lines that they want to make, making discarding that much more important. Again, I want to thank everyone who's in Twitch watching with us today. If you miss any of the tournament, you can go over to 20 Lore on YouTube. Watch the rest of the tournament time this week. The videos will be posted. Well, Spider, there's a lot of cards that are looking pretty good this set. We're watching a mirror match between Emerald Steel. We see a lot of new updates for the Emerald Steel decks, such as Ursula that's up on the screen, that 2-drop. Not only that, but there was a 3-drop Ursula introduced to the Lorcana Into the Inklands that really allows you to utilize your songs in a very powerful way by bringing them back if she's the one that sings them. Allows for a lot of extra discards, a lot of extra draws. When we talked to RMB, Wonder, and Jeebus earlier this past week, you can go back to the YouTube channel and see the set review. They talked about cards like Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood being another really strong card in Steel. Another great card that we see for removal in Steel is this Along Came Zeus, dealing 5 damage to locations or characters. So, Spider, there's quite a bit of cards that look really great in this set. Really glad to see the additions and see how they come up. Well, here we are going into game 2 of round 2. Ron leading us off with a Captain Hook, followed by a Morph. Morph being another very strong inclusion into these Emerald Steel decks, just having the ability for any Floodborn to shift on top of them. Really iconic play onto this card that really resembles its character from Treasure Planet. It's almost like we're watching a repeat of round 1 as we see Aaron playing a turn 2 Bucky, using his Robin Hood to take care of that Captain Hook. That 1-drop Robin Hood being a 2/2, able to attack into that Captain Hook to take care of it, while only sustaining 1 damage. 1 damage not being too much when you know that your Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood is a 3/6, meaning that it can survive a couple more extra damage and still be able to do its job later on in the match. And again, from Aaron, seeing that Morph, using it to shift a St. Clair. Helga, being from Atlantis, whenever this character quests, you may deal 3 damage to chosen damaged character, can now take care of that Robin Hood, as we just saw. Aaron taking his turn, passes it back to Ron, who's really trying to take advantage of this Helga St. Clair. Decides to ink a Captain Hook. Ron really trying to decide what he'd like to play. This is a very pivotal point in the match. Jorn, I tend to agree with you. I get some Snapcaster vibes from that Ursula, especially with songs. We see a lot of good card mechanics from other games possibly influencing Lorcana. If that being the case, taking the best from other games and bringing them to ours seems very good. And Spider, I tend to agree with you. Along Came Zeus, really strong card for steel. Just having targeted removal that deals 5 damage seems very relevant in this format. Ron playing his own little Robin Hood. Decides to pass it up to Lorcana Bros, aka Aaron. Taking a Tinkerbell. Playing a Jafar, which triggers Bucky, forcing Ron to discard a card. Jafar being a very strong card from set 2. This Floodborn really able to just challenge and gain you a lot of advantage with drawing a card after it banishes a character. That draw just being so relevant in this format, especially when turn 5, Aaron may be looking to drop a Beast Tragic Hero. Trying to maintain a large enough hand size seems very important, especially for Ron, who is facing a Bucky now. Uses an Along Came Zeus to take care of that Jafar. Using his Helga St. Clair along with his Robin to West. We're looking at 8-0 against Aaron. We saw Aaron last game not really having a whole lot of lore early. It wasn't until the later on in the game that he was able to quest after he had freely taken care of and had established a strong board state. And here we see the first enchanted character played in this tournament. I believe that is a Robin Hood. I could be mistaken. Robin Hood being very strong, a little jealous of Aaron having pulled a enchanted Robin Hood, especially the Champion of Sherwood. One of my favorite characters. I oftentimes have to go back and rewatch these beloved Disney films, and that way I can see and learn who the characters are again. But watching Robin Hood again was a real treat for me and my wife last night. Using that Robin Hood to sing Along Came Zeus, Aaron comes back with his own Grab Your Swords to kind of clean up some of the board and really reestablish himself into this match. Ron having no cards in hand, though, Aaron seems to have at least a little bit more resources to work with to try to regain some of his standing in this match. Aaron using his Along Came Zeus to take care and finish off Ron's Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. Really seeing the power of Into the Inklands and what it brings to Lorcana, as these players are playing so many of these new cards. And here's another new card from Into the Inklands. As many people have said, this card being the best card featuring Mulan on it, my favorite Disney princess, allows you to draw 2 cards, choose and discard a card. Aaron taking his turn, passing it back to Ron. It's quite a bit of ink, but it's top decking at this point, really trying to find something big to try to get back into this match. Aaron having resources in hand, but choosing not to play them, simply not having the right targets that are worth the value of using them. Decides to play his own morph, and now we see a morph versus morph match. What will these two morphs transform into? Time will only tell as Ron plays Mr. Smee. Morph transforming into Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood, taking out Morph, allowing him to draw a card. Here's that Robin Hood for you on the screen. Its ability is that during your turn, whenever it banishes a character, you gain 2 lore, gaining Aaron extra 2, having banished and challenged that morph. A third, Along Came Zeus from Aaron. We're seeing lots of copies of this card from Aaron. Possibly wishing he might have held on to it for this huge Hercules Divine Hero. Sometimes you never know when you're holding back resources, when it's best used, especially when your opponent's only top decking. But seeing Hercules Divine Hero come along like this is able to be answered by Aaron's own Hercules Divine Hero. We're really seeing a back and forth from these two players. Ron being at 12, Aaron at 6. Aaron just trying to gain enough to come back to this match. We see a lot of strong characters on the board that can quest for quite a bit. Ron last turn having played that Mr. Smee. Aaron using another damage spell, this time Strength of the Raging Fire, having enough characters on board to get through Hercules' Resist, dealing enough damage to banish him. Ron top decking a Grab Your Sword, dealing 2 damage to everything except for Hercules, who has Resist 2. Getting that Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood, into banishing range by Mr. Smee. Decides to quest. Mr. Smee just being a big inclusion into this deck, able to quest for 2. Aaron deciding to use his Robin Hood to challenge, getting himself 2 lore by the banish. This game is coming very close, 16 to 11. Aaron having an extra Tinkerbell, another big quester. Ron left to top decking. Hopefully drew a big quester. Staring down a board of 5 lore. As an Along Came Zeus, enough to take out Hercules. This match, we have really seen the power of Along Came Zeus, as it has taken out so many strong characters. Aaron using that new Mulan card. Questing is when you look at these characters, they have a diamond on the right side of the card. Whenever you quest, you gain the number equal to the diamonds, which are the lore count, allowing you to go up that amount of lore. Ramen Slurp Master just wanted to explain that there for you. Aaron decides to sing a 4th Along came Zeus, dealing 5 damage to a beast, getting rid of it entirely. Ron staring down a lot of lore on Aaron's side of the board, has a Tinkerbell to clean up that Ursula, doing 1 damage to everything else. Aaron straight questing. I believe that's the game, and that is the match. Aaron having won, not being on the play twice, against Ron in the mirror match against Emerald Steel. We see 2 versions of the deck, one playing a discard version with Bucky, the other one just focusing on the hand control with the Ursulas. Really a strong match and strong showing by both players. We really want to thank both Ron and Aaron, also known as Lorcana Bros from the 20 Lore Discord, for joining us for round 5 here at Evolutions Trading. We want to thank y'all over here at Twitch for watching. If you miss any of the rounds, you can head over to our 20 Lore YouTube to catch up on what you miss. We want to thank Evolutions Trading again for hosting the first Lorcana 1K of Set 3 into the Inklands. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in round 3.